Anybody know what that is? Right? That's the start of Roundabout by Yes. And I'm using that as an example because that's one of the things that, if you're in your teens, and you're learning to play guitar, that's one of the things that, assuming you have, an electric guitar and an amp, it's better still if you've got a little bit of reverb, you can play it and it sounds quite like it, because the biggest thing, I believe it's 95% of people who take up the guitar have given it up within a year, because they find it I guess too difficult, right? There's not a lot of encouragement, people's family members, you slog away at someone and say, what's this, and play something, and everyone's just got blank expressions, not because they're trying to be difficult, because they genuinely have no idea what it was. But as I say, when I was about 15 or something, my friends could play that. They showed me how to play it. The older guys at school would show you how to play something. You could play that harmonic, and most people would know what it was, right? Now, a while ago, I did a video on brown sugar, and I wasn't intending to be snarky about the whole thing, but I was trying to suggest that there are different levels. From we've all heard someone in a bar, go, and I said at the start, I'd probably know what that was. I'd probably be having a beer and singing along, with the song, because I like the song, I love the song, right? But there are different levels, so you might eventually, think, well, what if we went, is that closer to it? What if we went into the open G tuning, closer still? And what if we thought, it's funny, Keith seems to staccato the first one and groove out the second one, and then you think about the sound and whatever, and it's a long way between the open G tuning, playing it, I would say, right. I know that's an amorphous concept, but and seeing someone go, and it's not any harder to get it right. We've all heard a band play All Right Now, and some most people get the first, most people play that bit, right? Now, what if you went, tell me that doesn't sound far more like it when you just use the open string. And it's not any harder, it just takes a little bit more thought. So I thought I'd try and do a video about, the little things. Now, as guitar players, one thing that we tend to have in common that we don't like is we don't like someone coming up to us and go, see that bit you played in such and such, you're playing it wrong, it's a whatever, But as I've said 100 times, that's how you learn, As an example of that, there's a bit in the solo in Stairway to Heaven, everyone's been in a rehearsal room, and the guys in your band say, hey, can you play the solo in Stairway to Heaven? And the ham in all of us, says, I most certainly can, right? We all know that, it hits that F note that we don't really expect. We expect it to be an E, but it's not, right? But later on, Jimmy plays, except he doesn't, he plays. And for years I would play neither. Just before that bit, right? I'd go, I'd be totally into my idiom and I'd play that. Now, if somebody had come up and said, it's actually, I probably would have been a bit offended, but hopefully I would have taken it on board. And as I say, that's how we learn. So that's a case of simply playing the wrong note, but there's lots of times we play the right notes, but we play them wrong. You know, we don't play the notes right. As, you know, that's the right notes, that's how you'd see it written down, but that's far more like it, isn't it? You know? So I thought I'd maybe take a song as an example and fresh in my mind, because I just made an attempt to learn it at the weekend, is this Tim McGraw song, When She Wakes Up to Find Me Gone. And the solo is by Dan Huff. Now, I'm not really going to talk about tone and sound and whatever, for two reasons. One is that I want to concentrate on you know, what the notes are. You know, I don't want it disguised, if you like, under a wash of effects. You know, I just want, you know, so you can hear the notes, right? And the differences between the notes. And the other thing is, I think this obsession with equipment has become absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's totally taking away from playing the instrument and whatever. We're getting an army of people who are spending hours on the internet, you know, studying some esoteric overdrive pedal from wherever that's exactly the same as the last 100 overdrive pedals. You know, now maybe it's different if you're sitting at home, you know, I don't know, playing along with a record, and you can try different pedals and go, I like that one, I like that one. But believe me, if you're playing at stun volume, one overdrive pedal is pretty close to another one. You know, maybe not the cheapest of the cheap, but you know, if you get it, I mean, I've got a clone, sounds great. I've got a Boss Turbo Overdrive, it's fantastic. I've got a Rat, it's pretty noisy, but it's okay, Marshall Governor, you know. You know, so I'm as guilty as anybody of constantly buying, you know, these things. As Steve Lukather once said, you know, you can do that. You can piss your money away if you want to do that. But you'd be much better spending that time that you're spending on the internet, you know, looking at equipment, just, you know, sitting with any guitar. You know, and the analogy I gave years ago is, you know, if you want to try and sound like Paul Kossoff, and who of us doesn't, you know, you could study what's available and study and go in forums and try and find out exactly what Paul used and buy the 5,500 Paul Kossoff signature guitar, assuming you had the candy for that, and get a basket weave cab and blah blah blah, and then, you know, late 60s Marshall head. Or you could play, you know, a Yamaha Pacifica, you know, through a little practice amp. You know, maybe the one provision I would say is it'd be better if it had a little bit of reverb on it. You know, a little practice amp. You know, a Pacifica, or, you know, an entry level guitar. Put on Fire and Water. It's only 32 minutes. Play through it twice a night, and you do that for a few months, and you'll get a lot closer to Paul's sound than you will by buying the equipment. Now, someone could say, well, what if you do both? Well, you know, great. Maybe that's even better. But as I say, I'm not going to bog down in sound, because I really do believe that this obsession with equipment is to the detriment of the instrument, right? So, as I say, it's a Tim McGraw song called When She Wakes Up to Find Me Gone. It's a lovely song, and Dan Huff plays two solos. The second one is a longer one. It's got a lick in it that just jumped out at me. I've seen one guy online play this solo, and he played it absolutely brilliantly. But in the middle of it, Dan appears to play this lick. Right? And I've never actually heard anyone play that. You know, it's almost a Van Halen-esque lick. You just play a phrase, pull off, and then, you know, pull the high note, so you get, obviously there's loads of different ways you can play that. You know, I'm pulling the D to an E, so you go, it's the same note, but it sounds to me like Dan's doing that. And you know, obviously on the stay solo, you know, he does that thing with the fantastic tapping on the B and the G string. Anyway, What I thought I'd do is play the notes of the solo and then maybe suggest, so here's some ways you could maybe make the notes of the solo better. So if you're in a band and the singer said, I'd really like to do this Tim McGraw song, right? And there are two great guitar solos. So we'll concentrate on the first one because the second one's going to take an awful lot of work, for me anyway. We're talking about basic, a basic progression: a G, an E minor, a C, a D. Right? Dan Huff's first solo, if you just looked at the notes, he plays something like. Now that's the melody, and I think any of us would say, isn't that a lovely melody? It's a lovely choice of notes. And then this. Right, now obviously, I say obviously, but perhaps not obviously. That's not how he plays it, right? We know that. Now there's a couple of bits where it sounds like he's taking the bar down, and if you watch any of his stuff, he tends to, I think, play like it's like a Tyler or Sewer, pardon me, guitar, and it's got Floyd in it. I'm not going to do the bar stuff, right? So we're going to keep it simply in respect to, I'll show you the notes, but I'll try and show you different ways to play the notes, right? As I say, we're also not talking about the sound, what amp it was, and what guitar. Other than I was saying, I think the original's been played with Floyd. If you chose, if you like, to play it in a kind of stadium manner, it would sound like something like. Now, you're probably not going to get away with that in a band playing like what is effectively a country song. You might be able to put that kind of sound somewhere in the mix, but if you've got like acoustic, a cleanish, other guitar, bass, drums, maybe pedal steel, someone's going to say, calm it down, Jimi Hendrix, so maybe you're going to play the song with a more appropriate sound rather, right? So let's get to the actual notes. Right. First thing you hear is this. Right. Now, first time I heard it, purely because we tend to like to bend notes all the time, I heard it as, but it's actually just straight. Right. There is a slight depression on the bar there. Just takes the bar down slightly, and then the next line I heard is half step bend. So I had it like, right, but it's actually right. The next bit, get the same thing again on this G note. There's a slight depression on the bar. The bar goes down a little bit. It's not overly used, but it does add a little bit too. So far we've got. So you see, we've already gone from. We've now gone to. A nice timing bit there. So that choice of notes, G, F sharp, E, now involves a bend from the F sharp. This is where the bar goes down. And those two E notes one is fretted, one is bent. Right? And you see it sounds different. It sounds different to. Right? Now, the next bit, I think it's fantastic. It's the bit where the melody goes. Right? And I think what's played is. Right? So again, we get B to D, but then we push the C. And then back to that B note. So instead again, we get, and then it ends off. If you want, you can go. So again, this time I've got it the other way around. We've got the bend, and then the fret note. We slide up to the A. So the whole thing would be like, pause, here's a bit of like, yep, and there's the whole thing. And it's just so much better. This is how I played it 5 minutes ago. And there's nothing really wrong with that. You know, the notes are fine. It's a lovely choice of notes. It's just you can put a lot more juice into it by using that. And that technique of fretting a note will work for you every time. Now, if you take that, we're just playing in G here. We're just in like G major. Virtually every phrase. That's one I like to use all the time. But you can go. So that's effectively what I'm playing is, which is fine. That's how much better it sounds with one fretted note, and then the B up to C. So you could play that phrase like, and you get that sort of phrase, which to me is more soulful. You know, you can put more of yourself, or you can put more emotion, you can put more juice into it like that. So hopefully that has made sense. As I say, you know, I'm not playing it 100% like Dan Huff plays it. You know, I'm ashamed to say it, I wasn't even aware of the song until I saw a video. I think it was Christian Carlson do it online, and he played the second solo, which is the long one, the really wailing one, and it was fantastic. And I thought, well, I love Tim McGraw, and you know, I've got loads of Tim McGraw albums, got loads of Dan Huff stuff. I wasn't even aware of that one, so you know, I found it on eBay, and I think it came on Saturday morning. This is Tuesday night, and I thought, well, you know, I'll try and learn these two solos. That's the first one, the short one. And as I say, there are bits where Dan depresses the bar. You know, it's very slight, it's very subtle, but it sounds great. It sounds absolutely great. But I think the key thing is this. You know, these bends, they bring it out, especially the combination when you play a straight note against a bent note. So as I say, I hope that's not being like, you know, pedantic or anything, because you know, me and Ted don't do pedantic. I hope it's been helpful. And these are the things, you know, it's not that much harder to add the increments to anything you play on guitar. You know, we were very lucky with, because it sounds quite like it, you know, most of the other things you play when you're learning, you know, it's much harder to make it sound like it. So if somebody that you know is learning the guitar and they say, what's this, what's this, what's this? And they play something, you know, please try your hardest to encourage them by going, it's on the tip of my tongue, at least, you know, because it's not easy.